Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Steve Murray. We are going to have aboard with us today the coach Dave Pimper. He's going to go through Social Security claiming, some of the opportunities there, some key points around Social Security claiming that will help you in working with clients and prospects. And then we'll talk about how we can employ some of that knowledge and gain more knowledge and employ some of that knowledge to meet more people via a couple of very high touch prospecting methods. So going to be a great webinar today. My name is Steve Murray. I work with Dave sometimes on Fridays, sometimes on Tuesdays, and we usually go over some type of sales approach. A lot of times Social Security or Retirement Boss Radio seem to be the ones of the greatest interest, and so we do those more often than others. Today we're going to talk about Social Security claiming, as I mentioned. Dave will join us shortly. Dave, as many of you know, has worked with us as a coach for about the past 13 years now. Beyond that, he has been a producer at a high level since the early 80s. He's done radio, he's done seminars, he's over 500 seminars done. Been doing radio on and off for about a total of 20 years now at some level. So got a lot of experience, not only with marketing methods, but also from a producer standpoint. From your standpoint, I believe that more importantly, he's got a lot of experience in working one-on-one with clients, just like you do. So, going to be a great webinar today. We're going to start with a few things that we do here at IAMS to help you grow your business and be better partners with you as you attempt to do the hardest part of the work in this equation, which is gaining new prospects and working through the sales process and serving those prospects and clients at a high level. So a couple of the things that we do, we're going to throw up a poll and say, hey, if you have more interest, let us know. If you would answer those polls quickly, yays and nays, either one is fine with me. We're just trying to gauge interest there. I would appreciate that. If you have any questions, type them in. We'll get them asked and answered as soon as possible. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get this ball rolling here this morning. So wanted to begin with the new producer builders. Many of you are aware, I'm just looking at our list of attendees, and it looks like a fair number of you are been with us for a while, but there are some folks with us that are new to us. So as you look at that sheet, and you can see what we offer from a new producer standpoint to help you grow your business. What I want you to know, besides what you see there, is if there's something else that you would like to do, something else that you're doing already that we could make a similar contribution at. What we do is it's kind of a marketing reimbursement on steroids program, really, for that first 6 months of you being appointed with us. So if there's something else that you're doing or want to try that you want us to contribute towards, we will do that as well. That's just a quick call to your sales director and or myself, if you like. I'd be glad to chat with you about it as well and let us know where your interest lies. A couple programs and I mentioned marketing reimbursement just a moment ago, so we'll start with that. Marketing reimbursement, when you do business with us, we put money in your marketing account. Then when you spend money to grow your business, and we match that spend dollar for dollar. So we basically can kind of double up your marketing spend when you do your business with IAMS, and we think that's really a key to success in the short, mid, and long term. Is we think the more people that know what you do, how you do it, and you can get a measure of your experience and credibility, I think the more business you're going to do. And so we want to help you with that with your advertising. Referred producer program, we have built our business really like many of you out there. A lot of what we do has been based on referrals. And so we always appreciate that. About 10, 12 years ago, we put the RPM program into place. And now those are the biggest checks that we send out. We send them out quarterly. And the way that it works is when somebody that you think might benefit from our incentives, our products, our training, our service, you refer them to us, they get appointed, we send you a little check just to thank you for mentioning their name to us. But then beyond that, when they do business, where the real money starts to come in is we pay you a bonus based on their business of 20 basis points. So that nothing comes out of their pocket. They are everything that's available to you in terms of incentives and programs is all available to them. It doesn't affect them at all because we take that out of our advertising budget and pay it to you. No better money that we spend here than on the RPM program. We appreciate your referrals, love them, thank you for them, and we're going to reward you with a little extra cash as well. Great support here at IAMS. I get this all the time, where I hear from our guys that there's just a huge difference between where I was and what you guys do. And I know it's true. Hard to sell. I can't go out and take out an ad and say, hey, best service in the industry, because everybody says that. But I think you'll note the difference when you've been with us for a while. The key is, like, when you call in here, we have a 2-ring guarantee. We just went from a 3-ring guarantee to a 2-ring guarantee. So when you call in, you're going to get a quick pickup, and you're going to talk to a live body, and you're going to get your question answered. Or it's possible, obviously, you need to talk with somebody specific and they can be on the phone, but we're going to make sure that they get that message quickly and they're going to get back to you quickly. We think that's valuable to you. Could you be sitting with a client, need a piece of information? Could you be making a key decision, need a piece of information that we can make available to you or find out for you? So that's why we do what we do there. We think it's important. We think it's valuable. What you're going to find from our team when you do business is that you're not going to get better feedback and better, status on the where you're at, where your business sits in the pipeline than you get from IAMS. We put a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of very, very good people here at IAMS are involved in making sure that you know what's happening with your business and we can get it through the pipeline, because we know that what used to happen 15, 20 years ago in terms of business on the annuity side used to be fairly quick. Business went in, and 3 or 4 days later, if it was cash, you got paid. It doesn't work that way anymore. There's suitability and all the extra paperwork, and there's just so many opportunities for delay. And we know that if we can help you with that and get that business in and out the door so that you don't have to take your time to do it, that's going to keep you more profitable. It's going to have you doing what you're more suited to, which is talking to clients, what you're best prepared for, and keep the paperwork and the administration as much as possible on us. So we think that's really important, and I don't think necessarily that all of our competitors agree with that. And we think it's a real advantage of doing business with IAMS. But you'll find it out as you do business with us. You'll find out the value of it, and hopefully you tell other colleagues that it's important to you. One of the things that we do here that we just got lucky with here, frankly, we put Firelight as a single sign-on on our website about 2.5 years ago. And of course, then the pandemic hits and everybody wants to do e-apps, and it's really been a great feature. So if you don't know what that means to have a single sign-on, what that means is all the carriers that we do business with on the annuity side, because Firelight is mostly an annuity application, you can now just go to our website, sign in, and access all of those. And so there's certainly a time savings to you, not having to go from website to website, depending on what company you're doing business with, but there are other time savings to you. So for instance, if something would happen, you need to get something re-signed, all you have to do is go back on. Or let's say you're doing an application on one client with 2 carriers. You can do that from our single sign-on. And so you put the information in one, and then you can just basically do a copy and paste, move it over to the other. Let's say that you're going to do a piece of business 2 months from now on a client. You can go in and copy and paste it and move it over. Obviously, you got to get the re-sign, but it saves you a lot of time. And it's nice to know that you've got the most current forms and everything, all the things that you need when you do a Firelight application, when you do an e-app. That's really becoming more and more important. Unfortunately, I always tell our folks now, if we're sending you supplies and you're going to write an app next week, unfortunately, it's almost like you have to confirm, because things change too quickly. So, application paperwork that you may have gotten from us 4 weeks ago is not necessarily going to be current. On the Firelight application, you don't have to worry about that. The e-app is that's all put in by the carriers. They populate it. It should be their most current forms, everything that you need. It should be accurate, and that way, when you're doing any app, you're very, very unlikely to miss a blank that needs to get completed properly in order to get signed. We still look over the apps and walk you through if there's any issues that we need to talk about. But Firelight the e-app process can definitely save you time and money. Creative marketing team, they do a great job. The easiest way is, I always tell folks, for you to think of our system there is, think of them as your personal advertising agency, and they're going to do a lot of work for you pro bono. They're going to do a lot of work for you. The rest of the work for you is going to be at cost. That is obviously not a place where we look to make money. That's a place where we look to support you at a level so that you can do more business. So then we make more money that way. You make more money that way. That's the way that works. We got a good team over there, an ever expanding team with more and more capabilities. It's an important part of what we do for our folks. And so we put some time and effort and money into that for sure. So look to them for, things that you can do. And it's a conversation with your sales director. If you need something, and can your ad agency help me out with that? A lot of times the answer is going to be yes. And have they already done it for somebody else a lot of times, or have they done something for somebody else that maybe you haven't thought of? It's just a great resource that I don't think enough of our people take advantage of. And the way to do that is to have initial conversation with your sales director. We got a great website, a lot of tools out there. Again, I'm going to refer you to your sales director because everybody's business is different. What we've tried to do with our website is put a real high variety of tools out there that can help you depending on what you do. So whether you're doing term insurance, whole life insurance, there's different things that you'd want to look at, different tools out there. If you're doing annuities, we've got a nice you could put in information about what you're looking for, and it will parse that information down and give you the best options. If you're looking for the best MIGA rate in Tennessee for an 82-year-old, for instance, then the system, you can go in and do that search on there. That's what we use a lot of times when you call in and you say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. We've got some of the most experienced sales assistants in the industry. I mean, we got people with 25, 30 years experience on the phone helping you, but do they always know right off the top of their head all of that information? It's impossible to do. So we've got a tool to do that, which is also available on our website to you to use if you want to use it for yourself. So you can find out what the best income rider is in your area for a given age, for given parameters. You can find out what the best accumulation product on the FIA side. You can find out which product has the best point-to-point cap. So it's a nice search tool. Again, we're more than glad to do that for you. But if you want to have access yourself, it's right there on the website. So again, take advantage of that. Call your sales director and say, what do you got out there? This is my business. What do you think might be beneficial to me? And they'll walk you through the website. Firelight is on there, by the way, and you have to go on and register. That's about a 2-minute process, by the way. It's really easy to do. You have to be registered on the website. Again, that's about a 30-second process. You go in and put a username and password, and then we approve it. So really easy to get access to all those tools. The Retirement Analyzer, I know that many of you use a program like this, or maybe you use the Retirement Analyzer. We happen to think that the Retirement Analyzer is the best product out there to answer those questions that you see before you, and so many others. And you can see the little bit of the graphics and see what that looks like. So we like the output. We think it's very consumer friendly. And from your standpoint, we like the input. You can't get good information out if you don't put good information in, but how those questions get asked and how easy is it for you to do, and how do they take that information and say, okay, this is, these are the important questions for this particular client. So the ease of input and the quality of output, we think the Retirement Analyzer is the best in the industry. Good news for you all is that because we like it so much, we've had so many of our producers have really good luck with it and kind of almost changed the way that they do business. We make that available to our producers at our expense. So even if you're just getting rolling with us, maybe you haven't done your first piece of business, but you'd like to see how that works, give Marcus a call. He'll send you out a trial. You can look at it, maybe run through one, do one on yourself or do one on one of your A or B clients and see what that looks like for you and see if you have interest. And then when you're doing business with us, obviously we're going to pay that fee for you ongoing. So we're big believers in Retirement Analyzer. They've got great support. They're great people. They understand our business, and they can really that program can really develop a relationship for you with your clients and really show a real super high value of doing business with you to your clients. So if that's of interest, give Marcus Soller a call and say, hey Marcus, let me have a look at that. He'll even take some time and walk you through a couple samples if you'd like. So the Adams Wealth Management, new DOL here comes. We got to worry about that again. It's going to be more and more important to have a wider range of products that we offer to our clients. And so then the question is, do you want to be the one that's offering it, or do you want to refer that to somebody? If you want to be the one that's offering in tandem with your insurance sales, then a Series 65 is a good way to do that. We put Adams Wealth Management in place 3 years ago now. Been a fast growing part of our business for obvious reasons, but you can see some of the things it can do. Is it can increase your revenue, it's going to help you keep your clients with you, and it's going to make your client relationship stronger. I'm going to throw up a quick poll here. And I'm gonna while you're thinking about the yay or the nay on this poll, I'm gonna throw a few things out at you, things that you may want to be thinking about. Okay, well, do I have a poll? Yeah, I do. Okay. All right. So IAMS Wealth Management. Here's some of the things that I hear. And I was just down at a meeting last night. We had a few guys in, and we talk about obviously what we can do for them. But I asked them, hey, what for you? What's been the most valuable part of your relationship with IAMS Wealth Management? So here's what I hear back from folks that have made the decision to join IAMS Wealth Management. Some that have maybe had other RIAs, some that have just gotten their Series 65. So folks that have come from the RIA world and made a decision to join IAMS Wealth Management. Here are the two things that I hear most often from them of why they like IAMS Wealth Management. Number one, what they get for their fees. They feel like the fee is very competitive. Every RIA has a fee. There's the monthly fee that you have to pay for the services that they offer. Now, on top of the services, we also include your E&O cost in that. We also include a CRM access, so you can now track your clients. So that's part of the fee for that. We also include a website in that, and of course, all the normal things that you would normally get from other RIAs. So what you get for your fee is very, very competitive. And the guys and gals that have left other RIAs and joined RIAs, our RIA have said that over and over again. Probably what I hear most often from folks that understand that the business and have been in that business is our payouts are excellent, and that's important obviously for a lot of reasons. But here's what I found that is different. What I'm hearing is different from our folks is that we have a payout for our advisors of just a skosh over 1%. Now the difference is, and that's not unusual. A lot of folks, a lot of RIAs have a 80 or 90 basis point or a 100 basis point payout, a percent payout like we do. But most of those then run that through a grid. So depending on your level of business, you might receive 60, 70, 80, or 90% of that 1%. We don't have a grid. Everybody gets the 1% payout on their business. So that's always something that amazes people. For folks that maybe are just considering whether I should get my Series 65, we've done a lot of helping folks that come from the insurance side to getting a Series 65. So if you want to hear more about the process and how we help with that, it's key, really. It's one thing to be out there on your own and say, okay, I got to order books, I got to take my tests, and then it's another thing to have the support along the way to do that. And then IAMS Wealth is kind of built on a similar chassis to IAMS, and so service is really key. You don't always see that in the RIA world. A lot of RIAs are just, hey, we're here to make sure you stay compliant, but everything else is up to you. That's not the way that IAMS Wealth works at all. We're very, obviously, we're going to be compliance is key and very important. We want to make sure that everybody is as compliant as they need to be, but we do provide more service, I think, than what most folks are used to from their RIA. So those would be reasons why you might check yes on that poll. Obviously, with the DOL coming about as it is, and is that going to be important going forward for you to be able to offer other than just insurance products? The simple answer to that is yes. I mean, it's going to be important. How you go about doing that is really going to be what's up to you. You want to be your own Series 65. Does that make sense given where you are in your career right now? Or do you want to refer that business? And by the way, you can refer that business to IAMS Wealth, and we can help. In many states, we can have some compensation to you for that. Some states we can't, but many states we can. Or if you need to maybe have somebody from IAMS Wealth that you want to refer that to, we can maybe help you with that as well. But if you want to do it yourself, which obviously is my recommendation, I would say IAMS Wealth might be somebody you should consider. Okay, I'm going to thank you all, by the way, for voting. Appreciate your feedback on that. I'm going to close that poll up. I want to get moving here in the interest of time. I want to make sure that everybody's aware of our Top Producer Summit. We're still at the very beginnings of qualifications. So there's still plenty of time to qualify, over a year to qualify. Qualification runs through June of 2022, and we're going to go in August of 2022, very late August. We're going to start in Rome. We're going to sail down the Italian coast. We're going to stop in Sorrento, move on from there to Messina. We're going to stop in Greece, Kotor, Dubrovnik. Croatia. I'm baffled by that. everybody that I talk to says that like will be one of the highlights of the trip. I guess it's a beautiful city. I wouldn't have necessarily thought that. Then we're going to end up in Venice, which I would think would be the highlight of that trip. That's the stop there. So it's about 8 days out of cruising. We'll have you on the concierge level, so you'll have higher than what you ever thought of in terms of amenities on a cruise. Everybody will have a veranda, so you'll be able to kind of watch the coastlines go by. If you don't like cruises because you don't like to get out in the open water and have all that sea sickness going on, the good news is here that on this particular cruise, because I have that problem myself, we're staying pretty close to the coastline. So every morning when you wake up, you'll be able to watch some coastlines going by. So we love that. We're really looking forward to it. We'd love to have you join us. Like I said, still plenty of time to qualify. It takes 4.5 million points. It's dollar for annuities. You get 1.5 points for your single premium life business. You get a little over 10 points for your target premium. And then the bottom line is everything, all the business you do with us counts towards qualification, and it only takes 4.5 million to qualify. We had a total of 18 months of qualification. We got about 15 months left. So love to have you join us there. Really, really good stuff. Like us, if you would. Follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't even know what is it like and follow. I don't know sure which is which, but I do. I get on LinkedIn quite a bit. I think that's where you like people. So if there's some information that you can only get of what we do if you follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. For instance, we've got a nice Firelight promotion going. We're going to announce the winner of that every Friday, I think. Maybe it's every Monday on Facebook Live, so you can follow that on that. We have some offers that we do as well on LinkedIn that we don't do anywhere else. So I'm going to get now to the coach, Dave Pimper. I'm hoping that check and see, actually. Dave, are you with us this morning?
I'm right here. I'm always here.
Yeah, I did a little introduction of you before you arrived with us, just to give the folks a little background on your really high level of experience and high production levels, and just the high IQ you have on the marketing side. So what Dave is going to talk about today is very specific information around Social Security claiming. We'll end up, as I mentioned earlier, talking a little bit about the opportunities to make that new knowledge available to clients and prospects via radio, seminars, and things like that, which have been very, very successful. I would say Social Security claiming has been the most successful seminar program that we had, and certainly I think, Dave, you'd agree that from a radio standpoint, it's one of the most one of the most reacted to offers that you make too during your radio show.
Yeah.
Really, really good information to have. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Dave, and I'm going to let you run the show and tell everybody all about Social Security claiming it, and looking forward to another great webinar with you.
Well, thanks a lot, Steve. I appreciate the introduction. My name is Dave Pimper, and July the 9th, I will have been in the business I started 40 years ago, and so it's a long time, and I enjoy it. 66 years of age and have no plans on retiring anytime soon. So I do about, the majority of my business, of course, is production. But what I'm really known for, a person asked me yesterday, went into a second appointment, so about 400,000, but they came in for Social Security questions. And they said, where does your expertise, are you a generalist, or where does your expertise really lie? And I told him, of course, I've been through, 5 bear markets in the last 40 years, and you gain some knowledge every time you go through a tough time. But I work with the pre-retired or just retired group, so my average age group is 62, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, that maybe 7, but 61, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 probably. What happens is Social Security allows me also to talk to people that are 58, 59, 60, 61, because the first age you can start taking Social Security is at 62. Well, in-service non-hardship withdrawal plans, if a person comes to me and they're 60, and they've been working for XYZ company, they have 700,000 in there, they probably have no idea that the majority of the companies will allow you to take money out of your retirement plan, out of your 401k, out of your 453, out of your TSP thrift savings plan if you're 59 and a half or older. And so, I mean, 3 weeks ago. I mean, the person had 400 and some thousand, and we didn't take it all, but to diversify out his portfolios, we worked. They just didn't have a very good guaranteed option in their plan, so we worked with 150,000, from the fixed index side. That's what Social Security does. It gets you talking to those people maybe a little bit younger than pre-retired, but they're thinking about, hey, when should I take my Social Security? And why only 1 out of every 10 advisors know much about Social Security is because the average advisor looks at this. I'm talking about, I don't care if you're Merrill Lynch, UBS, Edward Jones, Independent, your Northwestern Mutual, Prudential, independent insurance agent. There's only about 1 out of 10 that really understand Social Security. And I think I'm surmising this, but I really do believe it's because it's like, hey, I can't make money. I can't charge for Social Security. I mean, how would I do that? I don't get paid for Social Security. But oh, so wrong you are. Social Security opens up so many doors to go into. I mean, I can tell you story after story after story after story. I had something that has happened too often in my 40 years. This gal actually came and talked to me after Social Security seminar from a year and a half ago. She was separated from her husband, been married to him for 34 years. She was going to be retired within a couple years. And I never even got to the proposal. She just couldn't pull the plug with everything that was going on in her life. She contacted me back and she said, I have one Social Security question. I want to know if my husband should delay his or take his now. He's 67 years of age. Well, I mean, we got together and I said, do me a favor. I said, do bring, the letter says bring all your statements in and so forth. So, but she had a Social Security question. I showed her a way through restricted application. It's pretty cool. I found her an extra. This is extra free money because of restricted application, 10 grand a year she never knew she got. And there was a retro benefit of 3,400 that she's going to get a check for. Now that's her husband. They're back together. He's on the wagon. Things are going good for him. Steve, I don't know if I told this to you. She looks at me and she says, I've made the decision. I want you to be my advisor. And then she gets out all her statements, 331,000, 3 rollover statements from the medical center here in town.
Beautiful.
I mean, just it was only because of Social Security. So does Social Security make you money per se? No. But does knowing Social Security and understanding it and giving great advice give you inroads to other lead sources and prospecting sources and appointment sources and money sources, make your spouse happy when you buy her that extra gift? Yeah, or his gift, yeah, darn right it does. So let's talk about Social Security. I'll tell you what, in the FMO business, and I'm not, Steve Murray is, I mean, him and their 40, 50, 60 employees, been in business since 86 under the same ownership. What happens is that that's what they do. What I do is I coach. I'm a producer. I do what you do. Everybody on this line today, most of us are independent. We broke off from the chains of being captive, which probably all of us at one time were, and now we're independent. But this is a contact business. If you don't get in front of people, I'm telling you right now, you're not right in business. Was last year a peculiar year? Well, to say the least. I mean, I don't even understand. I had to look up the word what pandemic meant. I knew what epidemic meant, but I wasn't positive what pandemic meant. That's how little I knew about it. But I will tell you this, most advisors, most agents' business was down last year because of what happened to them in the pandemic. And I'm not bragging on this, but I'm telling you, it wasn't up by much. But I had the best year ever up to 2019. My 2020 year, I had more production than I did the year before. More production than I had the year before of commissionable or fee-based production. So the only reason for that was because I got in front of so many people. I still continued to market. I was marketing Social Security workshops virtually. Was it as good as face-to-face? No. And face-to-face is starting to open up now. I'm doing my first face-to-face workshop. I did the last one a year ago. Well, actually, I did it in the first week of March last year, in 2020. I'm doing one in May, the middle of May this year. It's about 3.5 weeks away. come go face to face. A lot of states are opening. I mean, we've done workshops down in Kansas, we've done workshops down in Texas, we've done workshops in Florida, you know, of the new opening on up. So what happens is, and I have something called Retirement Boss Radio. It's a radio show, and I'm averaging, you know, 10, 15 appointments, set appointments a month, and that has really taken off. You cannot catch the pandemic over the microphone. It's a recorded show right from your office or your home. I'm telling you what, there's a lot of ways to market, and that's the one thing. Steve, yesterday I was talking, actually, it's with Retirement Boss Radio, and you know who it is. It was Bill, and Bill just said, you know what? He said, he said, I've never done business with IAMS before, but he said, you know, kind of from shopping around and looking at my FMO, which is a big, as you know, pretty big size FMO. They don't have any type of a radio show host marketing program, A through Z. And he said, and this is what he said, which is so true. He said, you know, IAMS, it sounds like they have a lot of marketing programs to get in front of prospects. Truthful.
Mm-hmm.
Truthful. I mean, you know, you understand as owners of IAMS that if the producer doesn't make money, you guys are going to collect that little extra bump from unemployment. I mean, you know, that's the only way the FMO makes money. So let me go back to Social Security. I'm going to do this. It's going to be a 30-minute webinar right now, but we're going to do a test. It's a 5-question test, and I'm going to run this pretty quickly. I'm going to run through this fairly quick. And Steve, do I have the controls? Do you know?
You do.
I do. Well, okay, let's see if I can get them all up here. Oh, we got too many going there. Okay, let me see if I can go backwards here real quick. There we go. Okay, here we go. Now, most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security. From Sarah O'Brien from CNBC, a majority of older Americans get no professional advice about a key part of retirement planning, Social Security, even if they work with a financial advisor. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, you darn right. See if I can. There we go. Okay, here's a test. This is word for word. A Social Security test, only 1 in 300 seniors, not advisors, that's about 1 in 10, but only 1 in 300 seniors could ace. I said, hey, how about you? How about the financial advisor agent? And this is from SimplyWise, okay? So we're going to take this test. Here's the question number 1. I want everybody. Boy, we got a lot of folks on the line with us for a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Must be a lot of bad golfers out there that don't really want to just like me.
Well, it's
people say, I love this. When I'm playing golf, they'll say, you know what, we could be working on it, so that'd be better. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? Play this game with me. I got 5 questions. Let's see how much you know about Social Security. You know what the answer is? Write it down right now. Here we go. The answer is not full retirement age. The answer is 70. At full retirement age, FRA, you get your full benefit, your normal benefit. At 70, it has increased 8% per year after full retirement to get that age of 70. That's the first answer is 70. Second question, what's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? Go ahead, answer it. Yeah, it's age 60. Not 62. Not 62. What is the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits? Yeah, 60. There's a discount of 70. There's a discount of 28.5%. You only get 71.5%. But if your spouse dies, you can actually start getting benefits as early as 60. Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for a spousal benefit? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for a Social Security spousal benefit? Here we go. Write it down. Boom. What is it? Well, thought it was going to be boom. Now it's boom. There we go. Yes, you do need to. Your spouse has to be collecting for, you know, for that person to go in and get that spousal benefit. All right. Number 4, can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Can divorced spouses, if you're divorced, can you go back, say you're divorced for 30 years, can you go back and take benefits off of your ex? Yes or no? Here we go. Yeah, you can. If 4 stipulations are met, and if you get 2 of the 4, I'm gonna say you got this answer right. What are the 4 stipulations, or what are 2 of the 4 stipulations? What has to be met to get it for divorced spouses to receive benefits? Here we go. Well, you know what they are? I will tell you. First of all, you had to be married at least 10 years or longer. You're currently unmarried. Your ex is at least 62. And then lastly, your divorce, had to be at least 2 years ago or longer. Yeah, those are met. You can do it. How about the very last question we have? Are you eligible for survivor's benefits? Not divorce benefits, now survivor's benefits if you're divorced. Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Here we go. Yep. If 4 stipulations are met. Hey, if you can't remember from the slide before, you do need to sign up for coaching. I need help your memory on this. Yeah, it's those 4 same stipulations. What are they? You're currently unmarried. Your ex is at least 62. You're currently unmarried. Your marriage lasted for 10 years or longer. Your ex is at least 62, and it was 2 years or longer of the divorce. That'd have been very embarrassing if I could remember the 4. All right. How'd you do on that? If you got all 5, you should be coaching Social Security. If you got 4, that's extremely good. If you got 3, I'm telling you, 3 out of 5 is pretty darn good. Most people are going to probably get 1, 2, or none. I mean, it's not easy understanding Social Security. 2,700 rules of government bureaucracy. Okay? This is from Janet Heron from a couple years ago, 2019, from USA Today. She says, doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. And I bullet pointed, I took it word for word right from the article. That's a drain, sucking down your money. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Bullet point 2, retirees will lose an average, it's a wild figure, of $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime. Why? Because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Wow. And then bullet point number 3, overall, only 4% of retirees took Social Security benefits at the financially optimal age. You know what that means? Do the math. 96% took it the wrong time. That's why we can help people so much. I found that was I high-fived this gal yesterday saying, hey, how do you like them apples? Look what really, I said, look what that knowledge did for you. It's exciting. You know what? I'm not that I'm poo-pooing different financial strategies, but tons of people show fixed indexed annuities. Tons of people do life insurance. Tons of people do Medicare, MedSubs. Tons of people do mutual funds. Tons of people show stocks and bonds and munis. Tons of people do all kinds of financial products. But how many are really giving great advice on Social Security? Very, very few. Be one of the few. Be the unique. It has helped my business immensely. I've only known Social Security for a quarter of my working years. But I'll tell you right now, I can attribute maybe half of my business is some type related around Social Security. That's how important it is to learn it, and then how to market it. So, Social Security started in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, first check in 1940. Remember, 65 was the only date originally that you could take Social Security, not later, not earlier. Then in 61, under JFK, under President Kennedy, you could get it as early as 62 at a reduced, and then a few years later, they increased it where if you waited longer, you could get more. So today it's from 62 to 70. Those are the years where, unless you're disabled or your child or someone has died, but for the basic individual benefit, age 62 to 70, in those 8 years, and you can take when you want to. No one tells you when to take. Remember, only 1 in 300 people could pass, could ace that test. I took it and I aced it. I thought there was one tricky question, that one about maximizing, because the first thing you come to your mind is, hey, I want to get my full benefit, but they're talking about the most benefit. But I got them all right. Very few people can do that. Okay, cost of living automatically started in 75, year to year. Cost of living adjustments. There was no taxation until 83, but Ronald Reagan, actually the trust fund was going bankrupt. Remember old Tip O'Neill, those two guys, like oil and water, but they met together, which is very hard for Congress and Senate to do now. And then tax up to 50% of your benefit for Social Security was taxed, up to 85 by Bill Clinton. Bipartisan Budget Act did away with file and suspend in 6 months. And when I talked about restricted application, that is still around as long as you were born before January the 2nd of 1954. This guy yesterday, this guy's name is her husband was born December the 10th of 53. So he made it by 3 weeks to get an extra 10 grand a year and an extra 3,400 on the paycheck. We retro benefited him for 4 months. Pretty cool. And you know what? If some of this kind of goes over your head now, join the crowd, because it certainly did me when I learned it. But I will tell you this. I had also, Steve, you might get a kick out of this. This comes up from time to time, but I had a guy that says, look it, you know what, I'd like to take coaching from you, but I'm going to go get my certificate. I'm going to go get my, there's like 3 or 4 that are kind of sanctioned out there that you can go in and be able to put letters by your name, the alphabet, being a Social Security expert, being a Social Security strategist, or whatever it happens to be. And I've had somebody do that. And what they did is they coached for me first, and then they took that test. This is a couple of years ago now. And they had done seminars and were bringing pretty good business in. But they said, I will tell you right now, Dave, I mean, did I learn something from that course that I paid $2,000 for? Yeah. But did I learn one heck of a lot more from you with Social Security? Absolutely. I mean, there's not advisors giving those tests. They're not currently in production. I am. I'm doing what you're doing. I'm hitting the pavement every day. I'm going out there and earning my living by writing commissions, or if you happen to be on fees, that's what I'm doing day in and day out, and I've done it for 40 years. So having someone that's walking in your shoes, you find that how often that happens in an FMO. And this is not where I'm mentoring you. Hey, go watch what I do and just do what I do. Can you imagine someone in college ball a professional basketball player, goes in, James, and he says, LeBron James, and he says, hey, just shoot like I do, and just jump like I do, and just move like I do. I mean, you know what? That's just mentoring. To me, you don't learn as much as from coaching with the skills that you've got and making it work. Okay? If you got any questions, bring it on up. And just so you know, there's 3 ways that we, through IAMS, that we coach Social Security. One is that just Social Security seminars. I'm telling you, face-to-face seminars, they're coming in vogue right now. We've signed up. We've had a really good couple weeks now. People are for May and June workshops. So, $2,500. I mean, it's a workshop for $2,500 for 2 nights. People have been pent up. The workshops that have already been done in the states that are open, I will tell you, they are jamming them in right now because hardly anyone is giving the face-to-face as of yet. Well, we're starting. We want to be on that cutting edge. Listen to this. How important is Social Security? 59% of retirees count on their Social Security benefits to be a major source of income. Almost 60%. And I'm going to go back on that Social Security seminars with that $2,500. I coach you. There's 3 coaching sessions on Social Security. I'm coaching you up. I'm learning you, as we'd say in the rural Nebraska. I'm learning you Social Security. IAMS pays me a stipend. I'm not on your override system. I'm not on a hierarchy. You're in my hierarchy. No, they just pay me a stipend. And you can, when we're done, you can be calling me at any time that you want to, as long as you're doing business through IAMS, you've got availability to Dave Pemper. Retirement Boss Radio. It's the other. I'm bragging on this now. It's the most I've ever got. I had 9 appointments last week, 11 call-ins to our call center, and I had, as I was golfing, by the way, and I got 9 appointments. That's a lot. It's a lot. 3 of those were this week, and 2 of those went on to second appointments, for hopefully found money. So what happens is we coach up on Social Security there, and then if you just want to a la carte it, don't want to do a marketing program, you pay $800. It's $800, and you're getting caught up on Social Security. I think marketing should tag along with it, because just the information alone, if it was just how smart you were, then the best salespeople would be scientists, engineers, architects. But that's not the case, is it? No, it's not. They're probably the worst salespeople. Getting in front of people is the name of the game. If you have any questions, certainly just type it in. I'll be more than happy to answer. Remember I said, like Social Security 101, 66 to 67, depending on when you were born, is the full retirement age. If you take earlier, you get the benefit now, which is a positive, but the benefit is reduced. If you wait later, you don't. The negative is you don't get the money now, but the money is going to be increasing for you. Can Social Security have a huge value? Yeah, if you claim at your right time. Not claiming at the right time. Not claiming at a right time, but claiming at your right time. That's the important thing. Trust fund ran a surplus in 2019. Now, whether it runs a surplus in 2020, I wouldn't think so. I think it will be at a deficit, but 2 years ago, it had a $3 billion surplus. So when they say Social Security is going bankrupt, they mean the trust fund. That's what they mean. And it's projected out that the trust fund will go bankrupt by the year 2035. So that's 14 years away. That's actually pretty close. Well, what happens if the Social Security trust fund, that $2.9 trillion, goes to zero and it is bankrupt? If you're getting a $2,000 benefit, are you going to get any more money from Social Security? And most people say no, because Social Security is bankrupt. Well, Social Security's not bankrupt. The trust fund is bankrupt. Why do I say that and make the distinction? Because Social Security is a pay-as-you-go system. It's funded by payroll taxes, part of FICA, which covers Medicare also. So that 6.2% that you take out of your check for income every time, and then the employer matches that 6.2% for you, that's what funds your Social Security. If you're self-employed like I am, which many people on this webinar today are, you pay both ends of it. You pay 6.2% for the employee, and you're also the employer. You pay 6.2. I thought that 12.4, I thought it was like double taxation, but I understand it now. We get the full benefit of it. I understand it. Okay? But it's a pay-go system. So if the trust fund would go bankrupt, there's still about, give or take, 75 to 80% of your benefit would still come in. Yeah. So you know what? On $2,000, if it was 80%, you'd still have $1,600 coming in. Is the government going to let that happen? Absolutely not. Can I guarantee it? Of course not. Is it going to happen? Of course not. It's not. It's the foundation of America. And I'll tell you right now, if people didn't have Social Security, you would find, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on this, but I know it's well over 50% of the people could not make their expenses in retirement without Social Security. Yep. All right. Any questions? Type it in. We'll answer it for you. Solvency. Yeah, there's ways to go in and firm it up. It's a political hot potato. So whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a liberal, a socialist, it doesn't make any difference. People are just, they have all kinds of ideas, but there's probably going to be some kind of taxation, and there's probably going to be some kind of maybe full retirement age goes the high from 67 to 70, or maybe that maximizing your benefit goes from 70 to 73. If you think about it, it's not in proportion as far as demographics. The average age of a person's life in 1935, when Social Security was founded by the Social Security Act, the average age of longevity was 65. Oh, excuse me, 63. 62 or 63, and you couldn't get the benefit to 65. Now the average age is well up into the high 70s. So there'll probably be something of both of those, and there will be something, I would think, within the next 4 or 5 years. Is it a pay-as-you-go system? And now, what is purchased with that 6.2%, and then the employer 6.2, the 12.4% payroll taxes for Social Security? What is purchased? Special issue government bonds. Special issue government bonds. Okay? There's no market value adjustment. There's no interest rate sensitivity. There's only the government. It's only for government agencies, and that's what they invest in. But has the government sold those bonds off and put IOUs in its place? They have. Does that bother me? There's IOUs there, and there isn't something hard, like there's no bond to back it, or stock to, or gold to back it, or stocks to back it, or silver to back it. Does that bother me? None. Zero. Here's where I would get concerned. Let me ask you this: what backs the dollar bill in your pocket? Well, nothing. Nothing backs it except for the full faith and credit of the U.S. government, right? What's the difference in that backing than Social Security, your benefit from Social Security? Nothing. It's exactly the same. So you know what? When I take my car down, get it filled up, pay that $40, which 8 months ago I was paying $25. But when I go down there and fill my car, but I go pay cash on, they said, well, Mr. Pimper, I'm sorry, but we no longer accept cash as a currency. You know what? When that happens, I'm going to get concerned. But until that happens, not one bit. Is Social Security a Ponzi scheme? Of course not. They've never missed a payment. Hear me say that again. They've never missed a payment. So how do you figure out? Now we're going to talk about individual benefit, spousal benefit, divorce benefit, survivor benefit, and restricted application. Those 5 benefits, I'll let you know, if you become an expert on those 5 benefits, you can answer by far the majority of the questions that are thrown at you from your prospects and clients. So when we're coaching one-on-one together, whether it be through the marketing program that's paid for by IAMS for Social Security, which would be seminar marketing, Social Security seminar marketing, or whether it's Retirement Boss Radio, be your own radio host, an hour show each week, which has been, I'm telling you, you've never thought about radio. I'm not talking about a 15, 30-minute, 3-minute ad. I'm talking about being on for an hour and educating people, all of a sudden getting used to listening to you. Yeah, I coach people up on Social Security there. A third of the business I do from radio, it's directly related to questions on Social Security. They had no idea they're going to invest with me. They didn't know they're going to buy that guaranteed strategy. Absolutely not. And so what happens here, if you know those benefits, you can answer probably 80-85% of all those questions. So here we go. And of course, I'm going over much quicker now than if we were going one-on-one. And in those 3, or a la carte is 4 sessions, I'm giving you attachments, and I'm giving you just a lot of background information, okay? But first of all, you need 40 quarters of coverage to qualify for Social Security. And by the way, qualify for Medicare at 65, because that's tied to Social Security. It's out of the Social Security preview. Those 40 quarterly credits, they used to be called credits, or quarters of coverage now. If you make $1,470, $1,470, then you get a quarter of coverage. The most quarters in a year you can get is 4. The more you make, the bigger those quarters of coverage are. But if you make $5,880, yep, say you do one fixed index business, you go on in there and you write, say you write $100,000 and you make $6,000. Well, you know what? You just made 4 quarters of coverage in that year. You need 40 of those to get a benefit. It's the earnings over your working career. And it's at what age? The earlier you take, the lesser the benefit. The longer you wait, up to 70, you know what? The more the benefit. And that's strictly up to you. and I've said this before many, many times, I believe Social Security is the worst water cooler talk ever. The worst corporate water cooler talk ever. Hey, Dave, I took it 62 and you should too. Hey, Dave, I took it 70 and you should too. That's like saying, hey, Dave, I love the color pink and you should too. And I'm certainly not trying to go in and make anybody feel bad who loves pink, but I'm just saying that is my favorite color. Yeah, no, it's very individualized. They take your highest 35 years of working, inflation adjusted. So you know what? My dad ran a car dealership. I'd worked for him forever, been in sales since my junior year, since I've been 16 in high school. And yeah, my first full year, I graduated in June or May, as May of 1977. And my first full year of work was selling cars in 1978, and I made about $18,000. Well, that $18,000, you needed $17,700 to maximize your Social Security benefit, because you don't pay any more Social Security tax above that year than $17,700. So the extra $300 I made, didn't pay any taxes on it for Social Security, not income taxes, but for Social Security payroll taxes. This year, it's a little over $143,000. Yeah, like $143,700. That's the max. If you make above that, then you don't pay Social Security taxes. Okay? And every benefit, if there is a cost of living benefit, everybody gets it. And remember, there's only 3 years of cost of living. Didn't happen 2010, 11, and 2016. Other than that, since 1975, every single year has had an inflation increase. I'm telling you, if you know this information, and I help you learn it, I just don't give you a blueprint and say, go build your house. No, I'm the builder. I'm helping you. You're pounding the nails in of learning Social Security. And I'll tell you right now, if you haven't been marketing much, I mean, I understand from a mental standpoint, but I don't understand it from a pocketbook standpoint. If you're not marketing, if you're not making phone calls, you can only call your clientele so many times. Let's get in front of some people. That's the name of the game. This is more of a contact sport than football, especially Nebraska football. I love Nebraska football. I just said a bad thing. I'm sorry about that. Okay, full retirement age. If you're born from 43 to 54, your full retirement age is age 66. I was born in 55. Well, I had to go up 2 months, six years and 2 months. Then each year 2 months, all the way up to 1960 or later. 67 is the latest full retirement age right now. I think that'll change in the future, near future, in fact. But that's the way it is right now. A newborn child today, yeah, 67 is the full retirement age. Look at that dog. It's my favorite picture of all those slides. See, if you look closely, he has a bone tie on. It's another kind of a really bad Nebraska joke. Okay. If you take early, it's discounted. Anywhere from 25 to 30% if you take at the age of 62. If you wait to full retirement age, you get your full benefit. Remember, if you wait later, you basically earn 8% a year above full retirement each year to the age of 70. Guaranteed by the U.S. government. Throw inflation of the 1.3%, that's 9.3% guaranteed. It's a lot. So here we go. Type in questions if you got them. And I'm going to brush on each one of those. We go much more in depth if we're coaching one-on-one. So, Social Security, the spousal benefit, and you'll notice that everybody on those slides are so darn happy. They're old and happy. Yeah, Dave's PIA, which is primary insurance amount, that's the Social Security amount at my full retirement age. PIA, primary insurance amount. $2,400. My wife Amy's is at $1,000. We both take. Well, I give her $2,400. What does Amy get? She has an option, and options are good. Her option is she can take her $1,000, or she can take half of my benefit. Well, it's higher. Half of my benefit, half a day's benefit. It's $1,200. It's $200 higher. In reality, there's two parts of that she gets. She gets her own benefit for $1,000. She gets a spousal top up of $200. How about this? How about Dave's is 2,400, say at full retirement age. Amy's is at 1,000. Dave wants to wait to 70. Amy wants to take hers. Now what? How much can she take? That was one of the quiz questions. Remember, it says, does your spouse have to take for them to get half? Dave would have to, but he doesn't. Amy could only take 1,000. So let's say his grows at 8% per year. Say 2,400 grows to 3,400 with cost with the delayed retirement credits and inflation. So at 70, it grows to 3,400. Now Amy can take all of hers or half of his, but she doesn't get half of the delayed retirement credits. She gets half of his at full retirement age. The PIA, primary insurance amount of Dave. How much is it? 2,400. Half of that's 1,200. Now she gets a bump up of $200, but it's at 70 once he takes his. If you didn't know that little fact right there, I'm telling you, we should be coaching. Pay me $800 to coach you on up. Go take Social Security. Let's go into marketing, get in front of people so you can use this through seminar marketing. Retirement Boss Radio, I'm going to tell you right now, Steve will probably tell you, we have a fella, Steve, you know this, I mean, just called us, and that big that big FMO does not have any radio program. And I've been in radio 30 of my 40 years. I've had my own show for 25 of those. Yeah. Let us help you get in front of people in those appointments. Divorced spouse benefits. One of the bad survivors are people lose money all the time of not getting the best benefit. So remember, I call it the triple play plus one. What has to happen? Your marriage must have been 10 years or longer. You're currently unmarried. Your ex is 62. Divorce was at least 2 or more years ago. If those 4 things line up, here's what happens. Why is it important? Because now, in the eyes of Social Security, you can use your spouse, ex-spouse, just as if you were still married to them for a Social Security benefit. Again, why is that important? Married couples have many more benefit options than single individuals. Not always, but there's a bunch more options out there that normally can be used. Pretty cool. And that's done through the divorced benefit option. Survivor benefit. My wife says no one gets out of here alive. Physically. Might be spiritually, you might, but not physically. Everybody's going to die. It's a matter of when. So let's just say Dave's benefits $2,000, Amy's benefits $1,200. We're saying it's full retirement, so there's no discounting. Dave dies first. Why does Dave die first? Because guys just die first. They do. 75% of the time, the guy dies first. My mom's 97 years old. She'll be 98 in August. With the exception of her 97-year-old boyfriend for 10 years, all of her friends are widowed women. All. Except for Dean. Dean is the one that's lived a long time. Yeah, my dad died 16 years ago, and my mom's been dating this guy for 10 and a half years. And they've been, except for the pandemic year, Mom still lives at home. They've been everywhere. I mean, Mom doesn't have much money. Dean has more. Lucky for my mother. But they've been on a Mediterranean cruise. They've been to Hawaii twice. They've been to Cancun 3 times, to Bahamas. I mean, I want to date Dean. I mean, what a guy. That's how long people live. You know what? And she's lived, my mother, her existence is really around my dad's survivor benefit. My mom barely had a benefit. She barely had her 40 hours in. She was a stay-at-home mother, as many people were back then. But not the case. Yeah, so Dave's benefits $2,000 and Amy's benefits $1,200. And what's the normal? The guy dies first, Dave dies first. What can Amy do? Well, Amy can go in and she can just keep her benefit going. Absolutely. Or she can request this from Social Security Administration. She can drop the $1,200 and she can jump up to Dave's. That's her option. But you know what has to be asked for? Just like that divorce benefit, that has to be asked for. The individual benefit has to be asked for. The spousal benefit, it's done automatically. Yeah, there's just all kind of spinning plates. Remember that spinning plate guy from the older sector? Not the young ones won't know, but on the Ed Sullivan show, he would spin plates, and it always amazed me. That's the way Social Security is. It's confusing, but I make it easier to understand. If you know Social Security, you got something that almost no one else has, the knowledge of claiming at the right time, what you can do for your prospects and do for your clients. It's just a cool thing. You can actually take this as early as 60. And you can do a spousal coordination there where you can go in and take the full widow's benefit, not discounted. Let yours grow all the way up to 70 and then turn your on at a bigger amount. There's many more options. Tell you what the triple play with the home run with everybody loaded on the bottom of the ninth to win the game is if you're divorced, so you got that benefit, and your ex dies. That's by far the most benefits anybody's got. All kinds of things are thrown at you, and not very many people use all the benefits they can. Pretty interesting, isn't it? Yep. All right. And then lastly, restricted application. That's coordinating spousal benefits. Remember I said that you had to be born before January the 2nd of 1954 that you can use this. And here's what it looks like. Here we go. I don't know. There we go. Hold on just for a real quick sec here. I had a sneeze, excuse me. Restricted application. This is, if you think there's some complication on what we talked about before, this gets really gooey, just like molasses to walk through. But just kind of stay with me on this. Remember, both people didn't have to be born before January 2nd, just the person requesting it. Like this guy's husband, he's requesting it. So he's 67 years of age or older, up to 70. But let's say Dave and Amy, they're both full retirement age. Now, this was what it was at 66. Now you've got to be, just remember, born before January 2nd of 1954. If that's the case, Dave goes in, files, and stops his immediately. In the eyes of Social Security, his is still open, even though he continues to earn yearly the delayed retirement credits of 8%. Cool. Amy has to start her benefit. She wants money coming in. She starts her $1,000 benefit. As long as she starts his, he starts his, stops his, restricts his, he can go out and get a spousal benefit, which is always half of that spouse. What's half of Amy's benefit? Half of 1,000 is 500. That $500 he can get is free money. Absolutely free money. That's 6,000 a year, 12,000 in 2, 18,000 in 3. Free money. It's called a restricted application. And what I did with this group, which I got this couple, which I got excited about, is that she started taking her benefit in January of this year, and right now it's in April, almost May. So January, February, March, April. She should have done it. He should have restricted 4 months ago. Right when she started, he should have restricted. But you know what? As long as he is full retirement age, which the husband is, he can go back and ask for a retroactive monthly benefit up to 6 months. So I said, hey, let's go retro this. In that case, she was getting, it was $850 a month. Well, what's 850 times 4? Okay, she got $3,400. They're going to get a check, or it'll be wired in their account for $3,400 because I retroed it. So besides getting her $10,200 a year for the restricted, I got her a one-time check for $3,400 to retro the benefit. I mean, I fist pumped her, and I kind of have fun with that. It's a boring subject anyway, but I just made her a ton of money. And that's when she looks at me. I'm not, and I love this. I mean, hey, I want you to be my advisor. I'll just be bold. I want you to be my advisor. She takes out all her rollover investment statements only because of Social Security. How fun is that story? Pretty fun. Any questions? Type them in. You know, Social Security can and cannot do for the personnel? Give you the highest benefit now, can't go on in and give you advice. In fact, it says here they can only provide enough information so that claimants make informed choices, don't give advice. Yeah, it's not a standalone income stream. It's the most flexible. You have to claim at your right time, not the right time. And never forget about that survivor benefit. Like my mother, it's really helped her a lot through all these years. 5 pillars of income: wages, pensions, producing assets, income producing like 401ks, etc. RMDs on traditional, how Social Security complements that. A lot of benefits to consider. 3 ways you can get it through us, IAMS and Dave Pimper. You can get a la carte, pay me $800, you're going to learn Social Security in 4 sessions. 4 sessions. They take about 45 minutes to an hour each on the phone, back it up all information, and then you can use me as a source. Okay? Or through marketing seminars, $2,500, 2 nights. It's pretty reasonable. And or Retirement Boss Radio can run anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 a month. But I'll tell you what, radio is quite a medium. There's no saying. It says procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop tomorrow. Well, you know what? Tomorrow never comes, does it? It never comes. Don't let it happen to you. If you heard something on this webinar today, Steve's going to bring up the poll. Hey, I'd like to get some more information about Social Security. If you want to learn Social Security, you're at the right webinar. You're at the right FMO. You're at the right coach. That's what I do. I love, as you can probably tell, I mean, I get a kick out of Social Security claiming because it's powerful. It's a powerful thing. It's like when you need oxygen, it just makes everything feel better, okay? And so I'm going to turn this on over to Steve. But if you mark yes on that, David Corwin will give you a call. And you'll get with my calendar, and we'll find a good time. Call maybe last 15 to 20 minutes. Those are not long calls. I don't want to waste your time, but you'll learn something that you might want to hear about Social Security. If you haven't thought before about really getting into Social Security, think about it. There's 3 ways to do it. Steve, I'll hand it over to you. And I know we're running a little bit late. I apologize for that. I got a little windy, but I'll let you take it from here.
Not at all, Dave. That's good information. Love it. I know the folks aboard enjoyed it. There are quite a few questions. Here's what I'll say about that. So I see some very specific questions. Here's one. I guess, Dave, I know you can answer pretty quickly. So one question came up regarding what do you mean if there's a COLA increase? So you might want to go through that real quick, and then we'll continue on.
Yeah. So the federal government, their fiscal year ends the last day of August, and so they always come on out in September. It's either the last day of August or last day of September, but it comes out the next month then, in about the 11th or 12th of the month. And COLA, like last year, was 1.3, the year 1.7, year before that 2.8, year before that 2%. Well, what happens is, and now inflation is up a little bit this year, so we're not guaranteed to have an increase of inflation with our benefit increasing, but it's happened every year since 75, except for the 3 years I talked about. So that's why we can almost always count on a COLA. Not every year, but inflation has been low as of late, but still a 1.3 or a 2% or a 2.8, it certainly increases that benefit and helps stay up with some of the inflationary times we're in.
The key being that there isn't always a COLA increase.
Nope. Like 2000,
Yep.
in 2000, 2000, I got to think about this real quick. So 2009, 10, and 16. Those were the 3 years there was not COLA.
Got it. Good. But there are a lot of other questions. Some are much more specific than that. So for those of you that have those much more specific questions, I think it might be valuable if we could do those on a one-on-one with Dave and just put yes on that poll. He'll be glad to just answer that question for you during your conversation. Here's what I would say in general is if you have interest in learning more about Social Security claiming, this is the best opportunity you'll ever have to learn things that are nuts and bolts important to you and your clients about Social Security claiming, things that really make a difference in your conversations. It's nice too because now you've got somebody on your side. Dave is probably wouldn't say it himself, but I have never asked Dave a question about Social Security claiming that he wasn't able to answer off the top of his head now. So that's pretty amazing encyclopedic knowledge of Social Security. Of course, it lends itself really to the fact that Dave has spent a lot of time answering a lot of questions for people, and these are the questions that come up over and over again. So he's got the questions or the answers to the questions that you probably most of your clients would have. I know that if some would come up, I know Dave has got plenty of resources to get the right answers. He's been really good with our group. Really about everything that has to do with the business coaching, but certainly regarding Social Security, really good about getting back to folks quickly and giving them just the right answers that they need. So we've appreciated that, Dave. If that's of interest to you, hit yes on that poll, have a conversation with Dave. I think that would be valuable. There are some questions, Dave, about seminars and radio. Can you spend, and I know we have run a bit long, but you could spend just a few minutes and talk about radio and seminars, maybe the costs and kind of what you've seen as the benefits. I know you do both, but a lot of folks just do one or the other, but kind of how you compare the costs and the benefits to each of Social Security claiming around radio and Social Security claiming around seminars, and then also just in general some of the pricing that you've discovered.
Right. Yeah, Social Security seminars, of course, have been lagging unless you were doing, and I've got a friend that has been very successful on virtual Social Security seminars. I did 6 of them, and I made money, not nearly as much money as I make face-to-face, but what happens is face-to-face is coming back, $2,500, and hopefully you're going to get 10 plus appointments, out of that, talking about Social Security. And you'll probably have 2 or 3 of those that will lead to money that chance to write business with. And for $2,500, if you can get 10 appointments, it's $150 per appointment. And that's pretty darn good. So we teach Social Security. Actually, IAM stipends me to do that, so they pay for it. And Retirement Boss Radio, I mean, we have a production company. We have a call center. It's recorded, but all the call center takes all the calls and sets the appointment. We use an electronic calendar. They're on our calendar electronically. Just works like a charm. And, you're probably $3,000 to $4,000 all in per month to be on the radio for 1 hour a week, depending on on the radio station, depending on your locale. But I'll tell you right now, just go on the weekend and look of the financial firms that are there. I bet all of them have been very successful or are very successful. Because radio is something that most people wouldn't even think about doing because they don't think they don't know how to do it, and they think the cost is going to be just way out of their means. It's just not the case. We have a turnkey system. Twice I did Your Money Matters on a live show for 45 minutes on Saturday morning from 7:15 to 8. Did that for 11 years, and Retirement Boss Radio we've done for almost 3 years. We went quite a while before we rolled it out to our group to make sure we had every bug we possibly could out of it. But it's a pretty streamlined system. And I'll tell you what, it's been a very, very good appointment source for myself and for other folks too. So and then don't forget. I mean, if you don't want any kind of marketing, you just want to pay $800 and say, Dave, teach me, learn me up. I can do that. But how you make money is by getting in front of people and in coaching them when the best time to take. So those are the 3 ways to go in and make it available through IAMS to really learn Social Security claiming, Steve.
Right, and there's no doubt that in your experience yourself, Dave, has been, you would say that Social Security claiming or having that knowledge of Social Security claiming has probably been the most beneficial single approach that you have used to get in front of new clients. Would you agree with that?
No doubt. Yep, I can, and I have success before, but I hadn't had the success until I really started doing Social Security claiming. Yep, I agree.
Yep. So, what we're hearing from a top producer with many years of experience has been a marketing. I mean, from the day that I met Dave, I could tell that of all the producers that we work with, there was nobody that valued and believed more in marketing and get in front of as many prospects as possible to grow your business. Nobody more than Dave. So I would put him in a top level in terms of that. And when he looks at his business over the past, since 1980, 1980, he looked at it. You've been doing Social Security for the last. When did we start? Maybe 9 years.
It's about 10 years now.
Okay,
yeah,
10 years.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years, Social Security claiming has been the biggest part of his business since then. So whether you decide that you want to use it for helping your clients or putting yourself in front of prospects, I don't think you can deny the value of Social Security claiming and understanding Social Security claiming to benefit your financial services practice. Dave can help with that. So if that's something you're interested in, and we're not talking a lot of money here. So I mean, if you just want Social Security information, $800, that's a great deal. But if the other part of it, where you actually get the knowledge and how to use it to get yourself in front of prospects, which is the way to go. I mean, that's the thing that you should do if indeed that what you're looking to do is to get in front of more people. Then hit yes on that poll. It's still up, and you can still hit yes and it's okay to hit no. I mean, we always get really good response on this, and it takes Dave probably a couple hours to get everybody called and to set up an appointment, but we'll get with you quickly and get that appointment set up probably sometime in the next week. Dave, I know your calendar's full, but I bet we can get that done sometime next week and get everybody a chance to chat with Dave. So hit yes on the poll if you want to. It's okay to hit no. I see almost all of you have voted. A few of you have not. If for whatever reason you're unable to vote, if it was a technical glitch that you weren't able to sign on or you weren't able to vote, give me a call. I'll be glad to coordinate things for you with Dave. It's just that important. I think we've had so much good luck with it. I just want everybody that is potentially considering this to get a full look at how it could work for them. I think it's really valuable, could be really valuable to you. With that, I think we can finish up this morning. Oops, I didn't close that poll out. Let me do that. I'm going to close that poll out now. If you have any questions that have come up that you want to chat with Dave about and you weren't able to put yes on that poll, give me a call. I'll put you in touch with him. Dave, is there anything that you want to say as we finish up today?
No, I apologize for running over time. I got a little windy, but hey, thank you very much for everybody for being on today. I hope I talked with a lot of you, and we can talk together and see if there's a game plan for you to market, get in front of more people, really understand the Social Security business.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. I know that as we're coming out of the pandemic, it feels good to get out and enjoy some things. I hope you can do that, and look forward to talking to you all next week. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.